Alrighty, hello, welcome everybody to the first round of the brackets in the Link to the Past tournament. My name is Tracy M. Today joining me is Professor Render. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good.
And we've got quite the hype matchup, sab0tender versus Andy. And Professor Render has some statistics for us, so why don't you go ahead and go through what these guys did in the group stage.
Yeah, so Andy is our number 11 seed. He started off in Group Q and beat out Acepless Rod 2-0 in the first round, and then beat out Zero Rush 2-1 in the winners finals. He had qualified 8th and is resulting in the first quartile, him being the first quartile. sab0tender, on the other hand, is the number 54th seed. He started off in Group AA, beat out the Sabin 2-0 in round 1, but lost to Farame 2-0 in the winners finals, but was able to beat the Sabin once again in the rematch 2-1 in the tiebreaker. He also is in the first quartile, has qualified to 20th.
Yeah, so this should be a good race. Pretty close in terms of qualifying seeds, but a little bit difference in terms of getting to brackets. But just goes to show that when you take the best 128 players, you're going to get some upsets, and you're not necessarily going to be in. If you're in that first quartile, it does not guarantee that you're going to be in one of those top seeds.
And we are underway. We're starting things off with a cape in Link's house.
Nice early, kind of a fetch quest item. We can't get to the item there yet. Both going to check Uncle right away, though. And do a tree pull here. And 5 rupees, not the worst tree pull ever, but really probably not what they really want. And a quick map check, I saw a pendant at Eastern. I saw red at Desert. I wasn't sure if that was a pendant or a red crystal, though.
Yeah, I saw there was a crystal on top of Tower of Hera. Book of Medora in the secret chest.
This could be heading them, leading them into Desert Palace pretty early.
Looking very early. Desert Palace is very. I don't know. We'll see what happens because it's. We'll probably need boots to make that more guaranteed, probably.
Well, we can't beat it because no fire source and no gloves, but you can certainly go into it.
Yeah, of course.
And interesting, Andy resetting over to Sanctuary, which is what you would normally see, just gets the map. sab0tender looks like he's going to do the early South Shore check.
Yeah, this is something I've tried personally, just to wait off until the very end where you do Kakariko. Sometimes it's paid off for me, sometimes it hasn't. But going to do early Kakariko will definitely dictate what is to come, depending on who will have an early lead, but still kind of close.
Yeah, in sab0tender's case, looking for hopefully a bottle or maybe a flute so that when he goes into Kakariko, he can do those things while he's there the first time, rather than having to double dip and come back later for those checks and for that flute activation.
And 300 rupees growing over on the mushroom spot. Oh,
ooh, nice hook shot. Well, it doesn't help with those early Kakariko checks, but it's always nice to find that hook shot. And a moon pearl, so we got part of our Dark World access already.
Yeah, moon pearl. We're only about like 2 away from Dark World access. We also have a little bit of the kind of sort of concern with Aga with that cape in hand. Not really anything to worry about just yet, though.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we see a lamp before we see the hammer or the gloves. Then you start worrying about it. And a sword. And a whole lot of money.
Yeah, so now with that sword in hand, we're just only a lamp away from Aga being available.
And we'll see if either one of them makes that early play. But there are some gloves for Andy. Okay, sab0tender not doing what a lot of runners like to do and heading over to the Ice Rod Cave. Was he going to do an early Agahnim check, I think?
Yeah, doing Agahnim early is not a bad idea, really.
Looks like maybe he's just going straight into Desert. We do have that book. Just a piece of heart on the ledge. Andy finding flippers. That's actually really nice fun. When he goes over to South Shore, he might pair it up with the flippers checks. Also gets a lamp, so they don't. Neither one of them has Aga access yet, but together they do. So
Yeah. So at this point, yeah, logic in the common consensus, we do have Aga access. We have the materials to do Aga Dark World. Yes, we do have a fighter sword, which will probably make. It's probably going to be kind of concerning. I mean, for someone like me who have tried it once, it's really painful.
Aga fighter sword is terrible.
Yeah,
but
no
you know, it is a gamble. We do have a glove already. If hammer is available in the light world, that ends up being a waste of time if you do it and your opponent doesn't. On the other hand, if you do it right away, you might be saving time.
And depends on who will make that gamble.
Okay, so far not seeing a whole lot in that desert check. While Andy's doing the normal full clear of Kakariko. I haven't seen, we got that lamp, after that lamp, haven't seen much else.
Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary for this Kakariko so far.
Of course, we do have Bombos showing, which may or may not be needed.
Yeah, it really depends on if. It really depends on when we come to the time where we have to do Medallion dungeons, or maybe we don't because they might have pendants on it. Or we might have to do it anyway because they might have progression on it.
And Andy, seeing that bottle, was about to save and quit and decides, you know what, that could be my access to sick kids, so let's just go ahead and grab it now.
Yeah, I like this idea from Andy.
Okay, now we're going to get the Yagina check from sab0tender.
Mm-hmm.
And just 50 rupees, but we have lots and lots of money. Andy, in particular, with those flippers, will by the time he gets there, he will have hit some more of those big 300. So he'll have plenty of money if he wants to go to Zora, so he can do all those flipper checks at once, which is really nice.
Yeah, with the fact that we had so many rupees right out of the gates, we're pretty much covered in terms of money in this seed.
And did decide to go back and check Sick Kid. Just gets a red boomerang for his trouble. A little more useful nowadays since you can use the sparkles from the red boomerang to help with some of the splash deletion stuff if you need to do that trick. Of course, we don't need to do fake flippers that way, so probably won't help him out too much at this point.
Yeah, it's some of the more recent additions to the glitch pool that makes the magic boomerang more valuable.
And it looks like sab0tender checked the lumberjack cave. Looked like a bottle there, so we're not going to go after that. Might still have to do Aga, but we're not going to go get the bottle after that.
Yeah, because we already have a bottle already available to us, and that would be from the race game.
Okay, so a blue cane, some rupees, and the key in the back of Escape. Which means the front of Escape is going to be all items, along with Dark Cross. We've got the map from the Sanctuary.
It appears as if Andy wants to do a houlihan to get back to the front of Escape, or at least get to that area.
And he gets it. Yeah, he's going to find he didn't need to do this, but he doesn't know that right now.
I mean, you can't go wrong with 225 extra rupees in your arsenal.
It is a lot of rupees there.
And it makes sense for Andy to actually do the houlihan just to get him up the Zora money. Yes, it won't pay. It won't be it won't pay out for him, but it does help. Like at least get him into the idea of okay, I could do Zora along with my flipper checks.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I said, he doesn't know that he's going to get plenty of money So it ends up being a bit of a time loss, but not too much of one.
Yeah, it's not like the hula hand is going to absolutely kill your run.
No, not at all. But he will get his hook shot. Well, sab0tender doing all the Kakariko checks now. Unfortunately, did not get a flute, did not get a bottle coming in here, so not going to be able to do that check or that activation.
Yeah, Sabo we'll find out later once he goes over to the race game that you have to go all the way back up to Kakariko just to get your magic boomerang.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to double back up to. I was actually a little surprised that Andy did. I mean, you're gonna be in Kakariko plenty of times the rest of the seed, so it doesn't seem like you need to check it right away. But you know what? If it had been something useful, then it would have been a very good play.
Yeah, it is close, all things considered. So I'm not surprised Andy decided to do that right here. Like, just go ahead and
just get it over with.
Go back up to Kakariko.
Okay, let's see if Andy continues over to the Ice Rod Cave. That hook shot, very useful for getting over there, avoiding some of those enemies.
Yeah, early Blue Mail is really nice with the 4 hearts that you only have so far. Taking a death from those crabs really hurts when you're starting out.
Yeah, those crabs will do 2 hearts of damage on green mail, so that blue mail makes a difference there.
Definitely.
And Ice Rod Cave has bombs. But at least you don't have to worry about it later. It's just done, gone, checked.
Yeah, and at least now Andy can actually do the flipper checks directly after Ice Rock Cave.
I'm going to assume that's what he's going to do, because he did farm up those rupees. There's not a whole lot of reason to do that other than going to Zora. And sab0tender going to go ahead and check out Death Mountain. This is fully in logic since we do have the lamp. I get so used to people doing this in the dark, it's kind of a surprise when you actually get to see the cave. And with that hook shot, you can actually check Paradox Cave and Spiral Cave as well. So there's actually a whole lot of checks you can do over here. Can't get to Hera, though.
No, you need either a mirror or a hammer in order to make that possible.
And more money. It's funny because the logic has nothing. Money and logic have nothing to do with each other. But when you get that much money, it's like, is it pointing me to Zora? Even though that doesn't work that way at all.
No, the logic expects you to have the money anyway.
Or be able to get it, because you can farm it.
Right.
And just a heart container on Spectral Rock. Might pick that up when you come back. And just a piece of heart in Spectral Rock, so probably not going to go pick that up at all. If they do get mirror and they decide to use it, they might just pick up that heart container on the way up the mountain, but may not need it. Right now it'd be nice because they're only on 4 hearts and 5 hearts respectively, but by the time they can get to it, it may not matter.
Oh, I don't know what I just saw that was on top of Zora Ledge.
I missed it too. Oh, chat's telling us it was a bow. That's pretty big.
Oh dear, that is gonna be huge for Andy because he's doing this right now.
Is it though? I mean, it might lead him to Eastern, and Eastern might not have anything. And this is one of those points where do you go to Eastern or do you bet on Aga?
Yeah, that's true. Now if there was a hammer,
the hammer would be huge.
Definitely.
Because then you don't have to do Aga.
Oh no, yeah, of course.
Okay, let's see what the rest. Oh, and sab0tender with the mirror. That could lead him up to Tower of Hera. It is a crystal.
Yeah, but he'll have to save and quit after doing Spiral Cave.
Or he could do it first and then come back to a Spiral Cave afterwards.
Yeah, that
Oh,
does...
no, he has to go the other way. Never mind.
Yeah.
You have to go the other way.
You need the tie-in smiths for it anyway.
Having a little bit of trouble getting that set up for the bomb jump. Looks like he's just going to go back to the other part of the cave.
Yeah, the bomb jump is a little tricky. I remember in like some older versions, I don't remember, the ledge can actually like put you in the correct position just to bomb jump, and it was actually pretty easy to do.
An interesting choice from Andy. Does do the lumberjack check, probably thinking, well, if this is an item I really need, I would just go to Agahnim now. But having seen that it's not something he needs, we'll see what he decides to do next. Looks like he's also going to head up the mountain. Looks like sab0tender just double checking that what Tower of Hera was.
Yeah, so he knows he'll have to save and quit after doing this Spiral Cave, which is going to be pretty slow because we don't have the boots.
Honestly, I like the idea of doing Tower of Hera early, a little bit more than Eastern. Eastern being a pendant. That bow could just be bait getting him into Eastern. It'll be interesting to see if either one goes for it.
And I hear the sync card that was picked up in Spiral Cave.
What a terrible place for the sync card, in particular, because you're just going to save and quit anyway. The only thing worse would be getting that sync card when you're about to do a death warp.
Yeah, the sync card is one of the only heart containers in the game that gives you a full refill. That's why we call it the Sanctuary heart, because it only happens in the Sanctuary. But there have been cases where you get the Sanctuary heart when you're trying to death warp, and it's really annoying. Or you get a Sanctuary heart when you're pretty early in the game. That's the one I really hate the most.
Okay, so sab0tender is going to go check out Tower of Hera. If nothing else, he will get a crystal out of this. Does pick up that free heart container there. Also going to check out the ether tablet. Think it's a good idea. Can't actually get the item because he doesn't have Master Sword yet. And it's just a piece of heart, so he's not going to come back for that later.
Yeah, the benefit of having the book when you're only on Fighter Sword is, yes, you can't get the item, but you are able to see it.
Okay, we get the big key right away. Let's see what else we have down here. Piece of heart.
So we're just gonna do the normal intended route, not gonna Hera pot. We're only one item away to finish this out.
Mean, it's a little bit more difficult to do that if you don't have the boots. So, and if you don't get it quickly, it's probably not worth the time.
Though you can, there are setups where you can do it bootsless.
Oh, absolutely, there are.
Yeah, I like doing the Trickera setup, which just involves having to back yourself up to a certain subpixel, and then doing a visual cue that leads to just from the chest that you pick up, you're seeing the outline, the white outline from the open chest, and then you just clip right into it and you're fine.
Okay, we did see both items, so we won't have to go to the basement. Unfortunately, neither item particularly useful. Looks like Andy following up on everything sab0tender's done in the Death Mountain area. Let's see if Andy decides also to do Tower of Hera. And it looks like he is.
So Okay, following a similar path as sab0tender drops down into the Molder and fight.
And all we have is the fighter sword, so it's a vanilla fight here. No hammer, no better swords. But sab0tender with no trouble whatsoever. Gets the key to the basement that we don't care about, and does get his first crystal at 1904.
First blood's been drawn.
And we do see a map check from Andy. Did not quite see where everything was, unfortunately, but it looks like we have a green pendant thieves town, which is always my least favorite pendant dungeon, because there's nothing to push you towards that other than the fact that you can get to it right away. It's like our other red crystal is on Skull Woods, and Swamp also a pendant.
Yeah, so I'm thinking at this point your last resort is to do Sahasrara and Eastern.
With the mirror, I would argue that ideally you'd probably want to do Eastern along with Pod if you had to do it at all. But again, does Eastern have that extra glove or that hammer? That's the gamble you would take if you were to do it now. And Andy looks like he is setting up the Hera pot.
Yeah, doing a different setup than normal. It's actually doing save and quit pause buffers with the menu when you're just using the pause buffer here, and nails it.
And sab0tender gonna do the escape from the back to the front. Oh, and a flute. Interesting. Well, it doesn't give us Dark World access, so.
Now, the interesting thing is that Andy decided not to go to Dark Cross and instead save and quit after he did his backup escape.
Yeah, he might be waiting to pair that up with front of escape if he's going to do that into Aga. Now, looks like sab0tender, is he going to go to... He hasn't done his flippers checks, actually, so he doesn't have that bow yet.
No.
Looks like he'll go do that now. He also never checked Ice Rod Cave, so we'll see if at some point he doubles back to that, which hopefully he doesn't, because it's nothing, but, it's one of those things that at some point he might get to it. With the flute, he can go there anytime he wants, so he might wait till he actually activates the flute.
And very clean fights for Andy.
Okay, so let's see, what is Andy gonna do now? Save and quit 2. Save and quit to Link's house. So either gonna do escape or Eastern. I think that's... Oh, he hasn't done desert yet. He hasn't done the quick desert check that sab0tender did. So he's got 3 options still.
Yeah. So he's doing Eastern as I would imagine he would do. Because it's either the desert play that Andy has not done, or escape.
Yeah, and when sab0tender checked desert out, he did not have the gloves or the fire source since he went to Kakariko late. Whereas now Andy can actually can do a lot more. I forget, was it boots locked? Now forgetting.
It was boots locked, I would imagine.
And sab0tender couldn't have done all of it anyway because he didn't have the access to the back. But
Chad is telling us that
it was not boot block. Okay, thank you. So Andy will be able to full clear, but of course, not knowing that, might keep him away from there. And Andy is going to head into Eastern.
Yeah. there's nothing else that you can really do outside of doing the front of escape or the desert play.
Or deciding just to bet on Aga right away. But let's see. If the hammer or another glove is here, then this is really going to pay off. And if not, you're probably going to... Your opponent, good chance he's going to do it as well. So it's probably pretty time neutral, if that's the case. And in fact, sab0tender heading over to the eastern area.
Yeah, you're running low on checks. You have to do this play or the front of escape.
And, you know, I would probably will be a little bit more pro just do the Aga play now if they had a fight Master Sword. Like I said, Fighter Sword Aga is pretty slow and cumbersome.
Yeah, that's the one thing that is keeping them away from doing the Aga play, is just because it's Fighter Sword Aga and it's really slow.
We do see a big key here. So we'll be able to check that big chest right away. And a compass.
So at this point, I think if I'm counting if I was seeing it correctly, it's a 50-50.
That sounds right. Okay, we're about to see what's in the big key chest. Is it our last item? It is. It's just a piece of heart. Andy not going to finish up the dungeon. It is just a regular pendant, not the green pendant. And we have no idea if Pet is anything yet. Nobody's checked it yet.
No. So, since sab0tender and Andy both did Eastern, there's really not a whole lot of time difference there.
Nope,
so, but Andy is heading over to Desert Palace, so Sabo will have the advantage of he already did Desert.
Yeah, except Andy will be able to finish it, and Sabo did not. So that's going to be an advantage Andy, I think, in the long run. On the other hand, sab0tender could leave Desert till late, perhaps pair it up with Myers, so that would even things up a little bit.
Yeah. And since sab0tender never finished the dungeon because couldn't do it and couldn't actually clear it, Andy at least sab0tender with the front of escape, and we know that the Dark Cross resulted in the flute.
And Sabo getting the bad news that there was nothing in Eastern.
Okay, so to the big chest we go. For Andy. And yeah, just as I figured, sab0tender is gonna head for the front of escape. This is his last chance to, at least this is the only option left. And actually heading for Aga.
Nope, he's going straight for Aga. Interesting.
Okay.
I'm a little more wait, no. Oh, you probably forgot he hasn't done the front of escape. I'm a little disappointed. I was kind of excited that he was gonna go straight to Aga and just do it. We'll see if the front of escape has anything useful for them.
Yeah. So sab0tender, if there's nothing here, he will have to do. Of course, he has to do Aga with the fighter sword, and it's so cumbersome. Andy has not done. Is gonna clear out Lamb Molus here.
Also, it's just a fighter, so a very vanilla fight we're gonna see. Really nothing to help him out. So I guess he could do both bow and arrow strats, which is maybe a little bit faster, from my understanding. And a shovel. That's the last thing you want to see in this situation, because you're like, I'll do front of escape, and there's nothing there. I'm right there. I can mirror out and do Aga. Oh boy, now there's a shovel that could lead me to this other thing that maybe is my gloves or my mitts or my hammer. It probably isn't.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's the last thing sab0tender wants to see.
Well, Andy doing a nice job with the bow, finishing up land moles. Does get his second crystal. And that's gonna leave the front of escape for him.
Yeah, found the green potion over in Zelda cell, and I'm gonna have to do this slow Aga 1 fighter sword. Now this play, I do think it's the right decision, though the shovel has already been was found. So the question is, if this isn't the right play, did sab0tender waste? I probably think sab0tender would waste his time. Will he realize that when he goes over there? I think I'm asking a really dumb question here. So
he'll get over there at some point. He'll have the mirror. He'll be able to pair it up with a bunch of the other checks in the South Dark world, since they do have the mirror, and he'll check it, and then we'll find out whether aggro is truly required. Andy, in the meantime, leaving desert. Don't believe he checked Agahnim beforehand, so he'll check it now. And we'll save and quit. Probably go to the front of escape into Aga as well. He'll have that same choice once he finds that shovel.
it really depends.
Okay, so let's see. How many blue balls are we going to get today? Anywhere from 0 to 15? Andy, having not done the Dark Cross, is going to check and get his flute first. Good start already for the Aga fight here. Oh, as soon as I say it, there's a blue ball.
Commentator's curse. So that's one. There's two.
That's two. And then we get the obligatory lightning round. Every 5th shot is going to be lightning. It's really easy to figure out when it's going to be lightning if you don't count, because he always moves to the exact same spot. So.
Yeah, and if you have a shield, one tech that you can do is you can hold the wall, and it will reduce lag frames.
Andy, you forgot something there. Thank you. Need that key.
2 blue balls ain't bad.
Not bad at all. Yeah, let's see what's on the pyramid ledge. Just some bombs. Not gonna pick those up. And he picks up that shovel. Forgot the key. Oh, wait. Guess he doesn't... Oh, he still has the key from the back of Escape. He didn't end up using it, so he actually didn't need to pick up that key.
Yeah, he stole the key, and remember, he didn't go to the back of his... didn't do a Dark Cross.
Yeah, that's... I actually have never... I've seen stealing the key the other way, where you grab that key and use it to get to the back. I've actually never seen it done backwards like that, so that's pretty cool. Something I've never thought about. Oh, and a fire rod on the Hylia island there. sab0tender probably scouted that out earlier and picks it up right away. That'll give him access to Skull Woods, or access to finish Skull Woods, and of course, Turtle Rock as well.
And Andy is opting to do the Aga play without doing the shovel.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the shovel just, it's such a low % chance that it's the actual item, and if it's not, it's such a waste of time.
Yeah, that is true. And besides, we had everything to do Aga Dark World anyway.
Okay, so sab0tender not gonna check either catfish or do a pod dip. Without the hammer, that pod dip, you can clear everything but Helmasaur, so you can get a lot of stuff, but you can't finish it unless the hammer's there. Although it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a hammer in pod after going through Aga. Also skipping catfish, a little bit out of the way, check. One of those checks you don't want to ever have to do, if you don't have to, but if it's an item,
Yeah. sab0tender doing the Graveyard Ledge.
And gets a Master Sword for his trouble, so that's at least something good.
And at this point, I feel like Sabo could do... He could do Skull Woods, and of course check the pedestal while he's ahead.
And there's always Pendant Thieves.
Yeah, Pendant Thieves. It's one of those Pendant Thieves is one of those dungeons where you have to take a while. You have to take a guess as to what you want to do. Do you stay and risk the? Do you risk the chance to find an item like hoping there's not a item on the bait chest, or do you just play it safe and leave?
Well, I don't know what the safe play is. I mean, the problem, like I said, with Thieves Town is there's absolutely nothing to lead you toward it. So we have the other issue with Swamp Palace. So Swamp Palace, also something you don't want to go into when it's a pendant dungeon. But we have flippers and we have mirror. We don't have the hammer yet, but we will get the hammer. So that's one of those dungeons that some players like to. They say, well, if I have all the stuff for it, I'm gonna go there. Thieves is just the opposite. You automatically have all the stuff for it once you get into the Dark World, unless you go in without a sword and no canes and no hammer, which is pretty rare. If it's even, it's pretty rare. You'd have to have both mitts, both gloves, and I mean, just that doesn't happen very often. That you have so little to do that with. So there's really nothing to tell you that, hey, you've got the items for Thieves Town, just go do it. So a lot of runners will just dip the front end and then maybe leave the back for later if they find it necessary. And sab0tender going to death warp out of here because that little heart is probably just better to get that little bit of a refill instead of mirroring out with shoe hearts. Looks like he is going to go straight to the back though, which makes sense. You got the fire rod.
And in addition, of course, after he's done with the Mothra fight, of course, he can always check the pedestal.
Yeah, this is the best time to do it because you have the mirror, you have the book. You can just go ahead and check it either right before the fight, right after the fight. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I usually don't really expect the ped to have anything.
But it's good to check it and find out, especially when you have the pendant dungeons that you have.
Oh, of course. There's nothing wrong with a pedestal check. There is nothing wrong with that if it's to eliminate possibilities.
Yeah, I mean with the pendant dungeons that we have, they can, once they get the hammer, they can full clear all the pendant dungeons, and it wouldn't take that much. So yeah, knowing right away whether you need to do that or not is a very good thing. Okay, Andy gonna pick up his fire rod.
All right, the Mafia fight.
Gonna supplement that Master Sword with some fire rod shots.
Practically vanilla if you want to go in the normal order.
Looks like Andy's gonna do a catfish check. So sab0tender's gonna go back into Skullwoods and see if he can find the items.
And there's 2 items in this dungeon.
Fortunately, he has the mirror for this one. Just gets a compass and mirrors on out. So his items are in the front.
Yep, and of course, there's the pedestal. This is going to be the pedestal check.
Yeah,
so.
we're gonna do that first. Just a single rupee at catfish for Andy.
Yeah, really, again, I usually have to check the pedestal to eliminate possibilities, and yeah, right here, it's a good example of that. It's just eliminate possibilities, just couch cast.
So the big thing there is we're not gonna need to go back into Eastern. If we do end up going into Swamp, we won't need to full clear that. We might not need to finish that one. Now, of course, Thieves Town being the green pendant, there's still a possibility that green pendant could lead to something.
Oh yeah, there's always that possibility. Yes, while pedestal is not required, it's always possible that the green pendant might have something of use.
Or that one of the bosses in a pendant dungeon could have a useful item.
Right.
Oh, and those are some mitts in Skullwoods for some extra Dark World access. So that'll give him access to Dark Death Mountain. That'll give him access to the Village of Outcasts without having to do that long walk from the Aga portal. That'll give him access to the Mire area. Of course, I don't think anyone's activated their flute yet, so they gotta do that at some point. And we used to do sab0tender in the room that used to always have a small key, but now has been changed so that in V31 that in this case still has a small key. But now it doesn't have to be a small key anymore.
So, sab0tender are going to do a bomb jump here. One of the more trickier ones because you have to face downwards and you have to find a specific pixel to do.
And finds a mushroom, so another fetch quest. Fortunately, the flute becomes a very easy fetch quest to turn that in later.
Joy.
Looks like Andy also going to do the swamp play. See if he goes to the back first as well. Looks like he will. As sab0tender starts the Village of Outcasts checks. Just a piece of heart in the sea house.
sab0tender going to play the chess game.
And bombs.
Now, if you're not familiar with the randomizer, the chess game is actually rigged up so that way the second item will always be the item.
I've actually been told that sometimes the first item is usually, I guess, it's the second item. I've actually been told that maybe sometimes it's the first item. I'm actually not sure about that. Either way, you're going to get one item and one random thing that may or may not be useful.
Right.
And sab0tender is going to at least dip the front at the use. We'll see if he decides to go to the back at all. And so far, just 10 arrows. And what do we have? Of course, we have to have the big key up front, so one more chest to check before he has to decide whether to go back, and just rupees. So the front of thieves with nothing for us. Meanwhile, Andy in his Mothula fight. And sab0tender in the perfect position to go ahead and activate that flute. Andy picking up his Skullwood's crystal. Giving him 3 crystals to 2 lead, depending on when sab0tender is able to route in that desert re-dip, since he has to go back in there. But Andy's going to go ahead and full clear Skullwoods. One more check in the Village of Outcasts for sab0tender. Ooh, and an ice rod. So thank goodness, no ice rod hunt today. And you're also going to see the couch cache on the ped. He knows he doesn't have to do all the pendant dungeons.
Yep.
Looks like sab0tender never checked out the item at the race game, so that was a good place to do that. Andy will pick up his mitts. And after a whole lot of digs, all we got is a big 20. And it looks like sab0tender is going to backtrack and do the smith chain. Always the parts that he can do. Won't be able to do hammer pegs, but will be able to turn the smith in and grab the purple chest if he wants. And with the mirror and the flute, this isn't too bad.
Oh, definitely not. No, it's not that hard to really do. It's just mirror, check the item, done.
And Andy gets his mushroom and is done with Skullwoods. Oh, and a vanilla tempered sword at the Smiths.
Ironic.
Not something they need, but certainly a nice thing to have. If we do end up silverless, that'll make the fight a lot easier. Even if we do have silvers, the difference between tempered sword and master sword is pretty significant.
Yeah, the sword advantage is very significant in this regard.
Okay, just a piece of heart there. And this would be a good time to go ahead and mirror over to get to that dig spot. And if this is the hammer, both the runners are going to feel way behind when they find it.
Yeah, they could have done it before and opted to do the Aga play, which, I mean, since both runners had done it, it's in the grand scheme of things, yes, they might feel behind, but
it's just 10 bombs. sab0tender feeling pretty good that he did not go and chase that shovel, and I think it was the right call at the time. But yeah, some people might have gone and checked it.
yeah, the
And he picks up his ice rod. We'll see if he decides to go back up to Thieves Town or if he just continues on. And decides not to do Thieves Town right now.
Alright, sab0tender doing Hype Cave.
Arrows and then rupees, a piece of heart, another piece of heart, and another piece of heart. So not a very hype cave.
This is why I call it Cave 73. Or more specifically, the Broken Heart Cave.
Ah, that's where he left his purple chest. I was wondering for a second. And just bombs. So all we got out of that Smith sequence that we wanted was a tempered sword, which really doesn't give us any really doesn't get us any further right now.
No, but sab0tender is going to check the Bombos tablet at this point.
You're right here. You might as well do it. And we get the single arrow.
Ugh.
Not what he would have wanted to see at all.
So, what do you do now?
Now it looks like we're going to do a Mire check. Unless this is Bombos, we can't go in it. Of course, we don't have the red cane to finish it either way. But we can check the Mire shed. We can check checkerboard. And sab0tender, having not finished Desert yet, might use this time to do that. Andy, having picked up his tempered sword, looks like he's going to do a similar trek with his purple chest.
And it looks like Ether is required for Misery Mire.
And we don't have that yet. And on the other hand, not being able to get into Misery Mire when you don't have the cane to finish it off is probably not the worst thing ever. So we are going to get that finish of Desert from sab0tender. You're right here, you might as well finish it off.
So, at this point, really, you have a couple options. You have, yes, we actually, no, we can enter Mire, but we can't finish it, right? But we can also do Ice Palace.
We can't finish it, though.
Yeah, of course.
Not until we get a hammer.
No hammer. We can at least enter it.
We can get to the end. We can't do all of the right side. We can get to the end of it, but we can't finish it. Ice Palace without hammer is not a pleasant thing. We can check the first chest of Swamp. Yeah, and we can. Well, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff on Dark Death Mountain that we haven't seen yet.
So here's the Lambo fights for Sabo.
It'll be a much easier fight for him. He's got that fire rod and that tempered sword. Should make very quick work here.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Andy can check that Bombo's tablet. I think he just has Hype Cave left to do in this area. And of course, they can full clear pod except for finishing it. They can get to all the items, they just can't get to Helmasaur. Or I should say, they get to all the chests. Now, it looks like Andy is going to check that first chest in Swamp. And Checkerboard Cave, just a big 20. So nothing we want there. Let's see where sab0tender are going to go next. No, he never checked Ice Rod Cave. Looks like he's heading over there.
And again, he could do ice. Of course, we can't clear it. That's one thing he could do.
Yeah. I feel like I would at least check Dark Death Mountain before I would dip into ice without a hammer. Like, if it was a pendant dungeon, maybe I'd feel differently, like Andy checking this first chest here. It's a pendant swamp. Hopefully you never have to come back here. Maybe the item you need is in the first chest. Or maybe it's just bombs and it's useless.
Yep. So, Andy's gone.
We have, 3 items in Hookshot Cave. We have 2 items in Super Bunny Cave. They can check the, they've got a cape and a blue cane to check the Spike Cave. They can see what the medallion is over at Turtle Rock and get that information. If it's Bombos, they might even choose to open it, although they can't go in it yet. Yeah, and they can't do Spike. Chat reminded me, no hammer, no Spike Cave. And actually, no hammer, no opening Turtle Rock either.
Yeah, that's the fact that we have not seen the hammer for almost an hour is inhibiting most plays to make. But Andy is going to do the potion shop. I keep saying potion shop. It's been potion. It's not the potion shop. It's the bomb shop.
Yes, yeah. Checking the pyramid fairy. I like that. Oh, and there's that hammer for sab0tender. Like that. He can do Spike Cave. He can open up Turtle Rock. At this point for Andy, finding that ether medallion, though he doesn't know he needs it yet, would be good. Also, if there's the red cane over here.
Yeah, that would actually help Andy out here.
And it is!
Speaking of.
Oh my god. So he could go and clear... Well, no, he can't go clear Mire yet because he doesn't have ether. But when he does get ether, he will be able to clear Mire. And it's better to find... In my opinion, I'd rather have the cane then get the medallion than the other way. And so he is going to head over to Mire and check and see if he can get there. He's going to be disappointed that he can't.
sab0tender opting to grab the gold sword that was on the floating islands.
Yeah, the interesting choice. I have no problem with that. It definitely helps out in a lot of places. Definitely some runners would not have picked that up. And it is a Quake medallion for TR. So all we have is Bombo, so we need the other two for our medallion dungeons.
So now sab0tender is heading over to Pod.
That makes a lot of sense. He's got the hammer now. He can full clear this. So the interesting thing here, it puts him in a little bit of a lead, but I wonder how long it's going to take him to get to that Pyramid Fairy, because he will need to get that cane at some point. Andy going to be right behind picking up that hammer, though. He'll have the opportunity to grab that gold sword. We'll see if he chooses to pick it up. Remember watching, I think it was a qualifier where there was a gold sword in a location that, took a little bit of extra time. I can't remember the location exactly. But 2 of the runners picked it up and 2 of the runners didn't. So, it's just one of those items that some people will pick it up and some won't.
Yeah, so Andy heading over to Super Bunny, gonna grab that hammer.
And for what it's worth, we were not bow locked in Pod. So this does put, no, we are in medallion mode for Andy.
Yeah, at this point, what are you even looking for? I mean, well, we don't know what we're looking for. We're looking for our.
They could be anywhere but they could be anywhere but Mire or TR.
Yeah,
so it's almost as bad as the ice rod hunt, but the ice rod hunt at least doesn't draw you into Turtle Rock or anything like that, or a cane hunt that draws you into Mire looking for it there.
Right. So
do you? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you do ice, or I think you're better off leading into leading.
You do Pod, you do ice, and then you start weighing your options. So, do you want to dip some of these pendant dungeons? We've seen all of Eastern, so you don't need to go back there. Of course, Swamp Palace being a long dungeon if you have to full clear it. And of course, Thieves Town having to go to the back is never fun if it's a pendant. And of course, again, it's the green pendant, so...
Yeah, and if Andy decides to go to Thieves Town and actually finish that out, and just turn in that green pendant, maybe that could actually be what ends up turning the tide of this seed so far. I mean, so far, Andy has the advantage of the Cane of Samaria, and Sab has not gone over there and went over to Pod instead.
And I like the choice of going to Pod before Ice, because the difference in go mode and Pod and not go mode is not nearly as significant. The Ice Palace being a very quick go mode dungeon, a very long full clear. Pod, you have to search for that big key anyway, so chances are you're not going to do it super quick.
Right.
It looks like sab0tender is heading to the back. I don't think he's checked all of it, so he'll go back in most likely if he doesn't find what he needs here. He's not going to find both medallions, so he'll have to go back in. Or risk other checks.
But even then, both runners are still relatively close to each other. sab0tender will probably, after he's done with Pod, he might opt to do the Pyramid Fairy and grab the Cane of Samaria.
Although I might do ice before I do Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Just at least
just the idea. Clear the crystal dungeons that you can clear, and then figure out what you need and go from there.
Yeah, and start from the most highest iron density and go to the lowest iron density.
The argument for not going straight into ice is, again, the difference between go mode and not go mode in ice is pretty significant. So if you could save that for go mode, yeah, it saves a lot of time. I've heard estimates about 3 or 4 minutes of the difference depending on how good the runner is. Chat asking if you'll do Ice Palace before Pen and Swamp. I would do Ice Palace before Pen and Swamp. I suspect the runners will too, but you never know.
And Half Magic was on Helmut's Arcane.
Nice luxury item. Not what they're looking for. Like, if you're not going to get the items you're looking for, that's one of those items that you want to see, but it's not what they're looking for.
Oh, no. That's definitely not what they're looking for.
And sab0tender does jump right back into pod. He's going to make the rest of these checks. And that makes a lot of sense. You don't want to have to come back here if you end up missing an item.
Yeah.
Map and a key. So there can't be a key over here in the Dark Maze side. So I believe there has to be a key at the Harmless Hellway. So sab0tender smartly just leaving that alone. Gets a nice luxury item in red mail.
Again, not what we need.
Not what we want, not what we need. But again, if you're going to get something you don't want, and Boots, which is a very nice item. Again, unless the big key in GT is on the torch, we don't need that either. But it will speed things up.
And yeah, now that gives Andy a lot of
He gives him the opportunity to do this thing we call hovering. I don't know if sab0tender does that or not. They don't need it because they do have the hook shot, but I know Andy will often use hovering instead of the hook shot because he's that good at it.
Alright, so looks like sab0tender is gonna do Pen and Swamp.
Nah, really? Okay. I thought maybe he'd head up to that Pyramid Fairy, but looks like you're right. I'm a little surprised. Pen and Swamp being a very slow dungeon. The comparison. Yeah, I don't like this. I would go do that. Go do ice. You have everything you need to full clear it. It is longer in this situation in not go mode. But you know what's even longer is going to Dependent Swamp and not finding anything. But
yeah.
you might prove me wrong. If there's something here, if this has your medallions and you can go mode ice, then that'll be a huge play for him.
Yeah, all sab0tender really wants to do is to pretty much avoid ice altogether, and then just hopes to Hylia that it's not on all your Goma items are not on ice.
So question: if you find one of the medallions here, do you leave or do you continue?
It's a hard call.
It is a hard call. That's why I asked the question.
On one hand, you could, if you find Ether, you could do Mire.
Yes.
But on the other hand, if you find like Quake, you can do Turtle Rock.
Yep.
That's a balancing act. But of course, sab0tender doesn't have the can Samaria here, so
that's true.
If he goes back to do, if he finds Ether, he might be inclined to leave out the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, because he could go into Mire, hope to find the cane there. Obviously, he can't do Turtle Rock without the cane, so he'd have to get that as well. So if he gets Quake, he's not leaving.
Yeah, that's the thing. And of course, even then, if there's two options, then really you're just hoping. If there's two items, if there's both medallions here, then that's an issue. If it's not here, then you have no other choice but to go to ice.
Meanwhile, Andy finishing up with Helmasaur will get his half magic, and we'll see which way he decides to go. He's already got that cane, so he's got only just the medallions that he's looking for. We'll see if he decides to go to ice, or if he decides to go to swamp. Or there's still Thieves Town on the table.
Yeah, of course. Thieves Town is still up in the air.
Yeah, and Andy didn't check the front half of Thieves Town, so it's might be a little more enticing for him. And it looks like he's headed towards ice.
These are two big plays that could. Oh.
There's a Quake. So Andy will have to get to swamp at some point.
Yes, that's. I don't know how to respond to that. So, since Quake does not immediately lead to anything.
Not for sab0tender. It doesn't lead because he doesn't have the cane. You can't even unless you want to hover it. And I see Andy trying for that. Maybe that's a pretty tough hover, but I've seen him do it. I don't know what sab0tender's hovering skills are. I can't imagine he's going to go into TR without the cane.
I'd imagine if you hovered the entirety of Turtle Rock, your fingers would be so hurt.
That too. Okay, now sab0tender still has items. Don't know how many items he has left. Will he go back in for the left side?
Yes.
He is going back in, and that makes sense since he doesn't have the red cane. That Quake doesn't get him into TR. And there's Andy with the hover, instead of the bomb jump. So we got Andy with the full clear of ice versus left side of swamp on sab0tender's side. Just some bombs in the big chest. And we have a mirror shield there for Andy. And this is one of the areas that you can't check without the hammer. Gets the big key. And a compass. So just dungeon items up there on the right side. Okay, now we're going to get that left side check from sab0tender, see if there's anything here. Compass. And A heart container. So the only thing that Swamp had for us was the Quake Medallion. I gotta believe sab0tender's gonna go ahead and check that Pyramid Fairy now.
On Andy's side, you got Ether.
Oh, nice. So that means... So what that means for Andy, probably goes and full clears Mire next. Whereas sab0tender, having that Quake, is probably going to head up to Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock being not a very good go mode dungeon, so sab0tender probably not going to lose a ton of time on it. Andy may lose more time on the Mire full clear, but he probably then go to Swamp and find that Quake and won't have to full clear Swamp. So hard to say who's in the lead at the moment.
Yeah, the lead is rather opaque right now, and since sab0tender is going to grab the cane here, this will lead to the possibility that this is gonna be weird, because at this point, since we know that Ether is on ice and
Yep.
Quake is in Pennant Swamp, it's gonna take one of these runners to go to Pennant Swamp early in order to get himself in go mode. Because right now, as I'm looking at things right now, we are in no mode.
We are in no mode for sure. And like I said, sab0tender is going to go ahead and do TR first. He really wants to get that go mode ice. He's not going to get it because we now know the Ether Medallion is there. So he's not going to get a go mode.
And it's tricky because doing Turtle Rock, no matter how you do it, if you're doing a full clear or go mode, it's still pretty much the same.
There's not a whole, like Andy would, I mean, assuming that he gets his, I mean, he has to get his Quake, that's his go mode. Andy will be able to skip Mimic Cave, and maybe, depending on the key layout, might be able to skip some other stuff. sab0tender is going to full clear, will do those things, and it's an extra trip up the mountain for him. So there's a little bit of time lost there. On the other hand, Andy's probably going to go full clear Mire before he hits Swamp. And, you know, there's still that Thieves Town play that he could make instead.
Yeah, and at this point, really, Andy should not be heading for Pendant Thieves. Oh.
He shouldn't be, but I mean, from his point of view, it's 4 items in Thieves and 6 items, or 5 items in Swamp, since he already checked the first one. So it's not that different. And Thieves is the green, no, it's 5 and 5, because Thieves is the green pendant, so they're pretty equal.
Yeah, you have to do a toss-up. Do you go for the green pendant, do green pendant Thieves, or do you not do green pendant? Like, just do you go straight up towards Swamp?
Yeah, it's literally a 50-50.
So, in the meantime, Andy's gonna do Mire.
Yes, and that's for him the right play. He just got the medallion for it. He has the red cane. You can clear this. It is a crystal. It gives him time to think about what he's going to do next. And let's see where that big key is. So see if we get the God Mire, that's going to lose Andy more time, because by the time sab0tender gets here, he will just be able to go if that big key is early. On the other hand, that big key is in a trolley spot. This is not going to lose Andy much time at all, because sab0tender is going to have to find it.
Yeah, this won't save a huge amount. This will save Andy from losing time here, which since there's no God Mire, Andy should be okay.
Yeah, it still depends on exactly where that big key is, but it's not going to be as bad. Like if the big key had been in one of those first 2 chests, then that's a huge time save for sab0tender when he gets there. And so far, we've seen a whole lot of small keys, which Mire has a whole lot of small keys to a lot of doors that we never go into.
Yeah, going to go check this chest first. Okay, it's not that one.
Yeah, chat make another good point. When Andy gets to swamp, whether he gets there first or what is that bunny? Sorry, I just saw the bunny mode for a sab0tender side. That was pretty bizarre. But yeah, chat making a good point that when Andy does manage to get to swamp, he will be able to mirror out as soon as he sees that that quake medallion. Whereas for sab0tender, he will have to full clear after he sees, because it is an ice, he will be full clearing.
Yeah, so he actually will save time in this regard, as you mentioned, and
so really, this match might come down to, does Andy go to Swamp or does Andy go to Thieves Town?
yeah, because by then sab0tender will have already cleared Turtle Rock.
And we get a vanilla big key.
That spot, I don't know. It really depends on what sab0tender decides to do for this Mire routing.
Yeah, that actually is potentially, a lot of runners will leave that spot to the very last because of how long that cutscene takes. So that big key location is really good for Andy, as it turns out.
Yeah, but it really depends on what sab0tender really wants to do. If he wants to go fully towards the left side, he will actually save a bit of time.
Okay, Andy's checked all the chests up front, is going to head to the back and finish off Viddy here. Yeah, chat making a good point. Andy might follow those boots and do some of those overrule checks. Of course, there's only really, there aren't too many of them, so those won't take him very long.
No, not at all. Really, the two boots checks really are just going to be Bonk Rocks and
King's Tomb. And sab0tender might do those as well before he heads into Ice Palace. He's really been avoiding that Ice Palace.
Andy giving us some spooky action.
And of course, the small key that he's looking for is in the last chest of the laser bridge.
So, yeah, not a big time difference.
Yeah, with the big key in the vanilla location in TR, Andy's not gonna have the opportunity to steal the key there and avoid the laser bridge. Okay, so where does Andy go next? This is the big question. He's gonna save and quit. This has gone over to Sanctuary, so that indicates that he is gonna do those boots checks. Those won't take long.
Yeah, it's something that you already found You found the boots just recently. You might want to just do those right away, as soon as you can.
And gets powder. That's a nice luxury item. Unfortunately, it also opens up a check we haven't done, so he might be headed that way.
Yeah, that's the one thing that is going to concern him, because he already opened up one other check with that powder.
And the question is sab0tender going to head straight for ice, or is he going to do some of these checks as well? And just a piece of heart at the bonk rocks. Does sab0tender ever do Spike Cave? Because looks like that's where he's headed. Oh, we never saw a mushroom turn. So we're going to see that too. sab0tender is... Yeah, you're right. He is... Yeah, has not gone to Spike Cave. And just rupees at the mushroom turn-in. Yep, he is going to turn in that powder.
Going for Pendant Thieves, I'm thinking.
That may be. And that's going to hurt him.
Yeah, at this point, sab0tender has already cleared Turtle Rock.
Where's sab0tender going? Where are you going? You're fluting. If sab0tender goes to ice, this is going to give him a big lead.
Yeah, because at this point, he'll be in go mode, and yes, well, he will lose a bit of time from having to climb up the mountain again. I don't think this would be of a big concern.
But sab0tender is not going to ice it. He's going to do these checks. And I think that was our first look at hammer pegs. And looks like it was just a piece of heart there. So maybe that Andy was just going to route those in together. We'll see if he does go to Thieves after this.
Now, one thing that could happen is that Sabo goes over to Pendant Thieves.
It could happen. I mean, he is shown that he does not want to go into ice until he can go mode ice. And that's just not going to happen, and he doesn't know it. Okay. Looks like he is finally going to go into ice, not going to do Thieves Town. And again, it's going to come down. Is Andy going to do Thieves, or is he going to do Swamp?
Well,
Again, 5 items each, you know. From his point of view, they are equally likely to have what he's looking for, and he is going to Thieves Town.
Yeah, he took the mirror portal, and that resulted in, like, I recognized it as, yeah, he's going for Pendant Thieves. So that will bring Sabo in go mode in a little bit.
Yeah, unless Andy does just the first 4 checks and then switches over to Swamp, which seems kind of unlikely.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so hard to really call this one. Because really, at this point, yeah, sab0tender is on a mad dash to get to that ether, and he'll gain he'll gain some time from not doing Pendant Thieves.
Yeah, Andy looks like he is not mirroring out of Thieves. He is going to full clear this. So assuming the sab0tender does full clear ice, this is going to give him the lead.
Yeah.
This will give, if he picks up that ether, he will finish ice. He will be able to go mode Mire for what that's worth, considering the big key location.
And again, if sab0tender decides to go towards the left side and check out the cutscene chest, then he actually saves some time instead of having to go do a whole full clear of it.
So we are going to get some new items here, at least on the Thieves Town side.
Well, I guess the one sort of positive thing about Thieves doing Pendant Thieves is that it's with the boots, it's not that slow.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, kind of in a vacuum. That's one thing. But the item he's looking for is not there. He doesn't know that. It's not a bad call because, like I said, you got 5 items because of the green pendant. He's already checked the first chest and swamp, so you got 5 items. So, like I said, equal. So which one do you do? And Thieves is probably a little bit faster in general if you're going to full clear it. But it's a randomizer, and those medallions can be anywhere but the dungeons they're gating.
Yeah. So at 129,
sab0tender does get hit. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, at 129.14, sab0tender has now entered go mode.
And just picks up that key so he can get through this door here. And I like what he did in that room with the ether. Was go mode -1, so he went ahead and checked that item. A lot of times, if you have a lot of items left to pick up, you're not going to pick that up right away. You'll come back down and get it because of the way those spikes work. But in this case, go mode -1. If that's your item, you're done. So.
Yeah.
And Andy gets his green pendant. And he's probably going to turn that in before heading over to Swamp. I don't believe he has anywhere else to go.
Yeah, if Andy does turn it in, I mean, it's again not a bad thing to do in his perspective.
No, and from his perspective, you spend the time to full clear Thieves. You need to find out what that green pendant is.
But an excellent cold stare fight from sab0tender.
Yeah, nice with you. Having that gold sword is very nice for that fight.
Only 20 rupees from
Yep.
that check.
Yeah, well, we knew it wasn't going to be anything good. Like, there's really not. The only thing at this point that it could have been that would have been of any use is silver arrows.
And even then, it really does not add anything to the Ganon fights.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're both in a silverless situation. I mean, the first couple rounds can theoretically be a little bit quicker with the gold sword, but typically aren't that much quicker. They will be both doing silverless at the moment. It saves a little bit of time for quick arrows versus 12 slashes, but it is, with these swords, you don't get this far without being able to do silverless, that's for sure. And now the next question is, does Andy go straight to the back, or does he mess with the left side at all?
If it goes to the left side, then I think sab0tender is pretty much has the clear lead here. I mean, as clear as a lead that sab0tender already has.
Yeah, I mean, right now I put sab0tender in the lead, but we'll see if Andy's execution can catch him up once he gets that ether medallion. He's not going to save a whole lot of time in Turtle Rock, considering that the big key placement there.
Yeah, and not to mention too, there's not the fact that we can't steal the key at all, so we have to do the entirety of Laser Bridge.
Okay, Andy pulling out that hook shot, grabs the key. Is he going to go to the back? I gotta check the compass first. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we'll see. sab0tender just doing the switch and grabbing the key, not even checking the vanilla. Sorry, wait, I guess it's the compass chest in there. He's gonna do these other checks first. Looks like Andy is going to go straight to the back. He will be able to mirror out once he sees that ether. He's going to be able to, the quake. He will be able to mirror right out.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Andy will be pretty happy about.
Okay, now does sab0tender go do the cutscene or does he go elsewhere? It's going straight to the cutscene. Now, he doesn't know this, but this is the right answer.
Yeah, and he will save some time here.
And there's that quake. Andy's going to mirror out and head straight up to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, he'll undergo but at 134.12. So again, I think at this point, now that he's done, Andy had done what he did, it's still kind of. I feel like at this point, it's still kind of opaque.
I would put sab0tender in the lead. Big key routing is going to make a difference in GT depending on if they do the same route, and if they don't, does one gain an advantage? And of course, Andy's famous for his execution. Is he going to be able to use that to catch up?
I would hope. It's tough because TR is vanilla. The big key is on the lava chest, which is vanilla.
Yeah, Andy's not gonna save time in TR unless he checks the laser bridge backwards, since the small key he'll need is in the last chest.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Andy could save time on, is the fact that he could just check the laser bridge from the back. So Sabo's on the Vitreous fight. This will be his last crystal.
And we already see people guessing. You guessed this early, we're not going to be able to declare a winner because we won't be able to scroll back that far. But, so what are all these guesses about? You want to share?
Yeah, Ganon's tower has 22 locations in the basement, and one of those items can have the big key, or one of those locations will have the big key. There's 21 chests and a torch. 1 from 22. Get your guesses in chat where you want the big key to be, and there's. I want to take it a little bit rough and say 17 or 18.
I'm going 5 because the only time I've ever guessed right, it was 5. As sab0tender enters the Dark World, heading over to Ganon's tower. Andy about to get his TR big key. So half a dungeon behind. And unless... I almost feel like that we'd have to have the tile room situation where the second runner guesses that as their first check. assuming sab0tender doesn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, at this point, really, if the only way Andy can really come back is if he God visions the tile room. Chest
Okay,
number
number
one,
one. Go ahead.
20 rupees, and chest number 2 is a compass. Number 3 is just a single rupee. Number 4 is 3 bombs. Number 5 is a key. Number 6 is another key, and number 7 is 20 rupees.
Eight, we just get 10 arrows.
Andy opting to do the laser bridge from top to bottom. Number 9 is a key.
Ten is a map, 11 a key, 12 is silver arrows, 13 is the big key, so can I even go that far back?
Yeah, it's only if you guess 13. Congratulations, you have my recognition.
Looks like Kaboo, if I'm saying that right, was the first person to guess 13. Assuming
So-
I did go back far enough.
All right, cool. Congratulations, you have my respect.
Meanwhile, Andy finishing up TR. And now we have full-on gold sword, silvers, everything you could possibly want. There's nothing else to even look for. Got all the luxury items, all the necessary items.
Now, Andy will have to do full left in order to make up some time. But at this point, really, since sab0tender has the clear lead at this point, I think really if sab0tender can't afford to fall at any point in this gauntlet, or not even this gauntlet, this tower climb, or on Moldorm 2 or on the Ganon fight.
Meanwhile, sab0tender making quick work of the gauntlet. Gonna go into landmole 2. Looks like he's gonna just use some silver arrows here. And very nice one round. And going into my favorite rooms with the wizrobes and the red cane. Love those strats. Also gonna take this opportunity as sab0tender continues up his climb. I definitely want to shout out our tracker today, Reg. Thank you for doing all the tracking, doing the hard work behind the scenes. And it's pretty much clicked all the buttons.
Okay, so sab0tender, all he really has to do now is to go up to fight Moldorm 2, and then Agahnim, and then Ganon. Again, sab0tender can't afford to fall multiple times here.
Yeah, I feel like that's unlikely at this level. I mean, these things can happen, and they do occasionally happen. Andy about to pick up his big key and get his silvers. sab0tender has played this very, very well. I just can't see him making those kind of mistakes at this point.
No, yeah, it's at this point sab0tender, like he's already the clear forerunner. It would be really catastrophic if it happened. Of course, again, unlikely, but it would be absolutely catastrophic. And all it really happened was like what pretty much settled the game was the decision to go do green pennant turtle beast down.
Well, equal numbers of items per dungeon. You know, sab0tender, when he had to make that choice, made it early and chose to go to swamp. Andy just chose to go to thieves, and that's how randomizer works sometimes.
Yeah, you have to make that coin flip, and if that coin flip goes in your favor, then that pretty much sets the tide up for the rest of the seed sometimes.
Okay, here we go. And sab0tender just going to town with that gold sword.
Yeah, the gold sword just makes the one cycles for phase 1 and 2 more consistent. And really, these runners don't really need to worry about that kind of thing. So, all right, phase 4 has begun.
sab0 getting a nice double there and finishing off Ganon.
So, get your GGs in chat for sab0tender.
Congratulations to sab0tender. Well played. And finishes up with an official SRL time of 1:47.25 GGs to sab0tender. Very nicely done.
Yeah, he will take game 1 in this series, and just pretty much again. So
There's Andy with the hover.
Of course. It was pretty close. It came pretty close. It was a close game through and through. I will. No matter what, it's like, yes, the coin flip did happen, but it was a good play for sab0tender.
Well, and just a reminder that this is only game 1, so there are potentially two more to be played, and Andy will get to change a setting if he wants, as he goes into his Agahnim fight. And we get the speedy credits on sab0tender's side. Andy about to go into his Ganon fight.
And I finally, this is the Kafka reference.
Andy sent him very nicely, despite the tempered sword there. He never did pick up that gold sword. Only on 2.5 hearts, so you have to be a little bit careful. But at this point of the fight, usually should be able to handle not being able to take. Reddit mail can take 1 hit, I believe.
Yeah.
Depending on what hits him.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And even then, he still has some safeties in the helm. And there's the triple.
Oh, a nice triple to finish Ganon off. Very nice. So GG's in chat for Andy. Finishing up in second place with an official SRL time of 1:50.25.
Yeah. So. And scene.
All right, and with that, we have sab0tender in the on-air chat room with us. How you doing, sab0tender? Congratulations!
Hey, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, that's GG.
Yeah,
Very
GG,
well done.
Yeah, I mean, it ended 20 minutes for us, and I still can't believe it, even now. Like, I mean, you're going up against someone who is like one of the top players in this community. You know, I just wanted to, you know, compete, you know, make it a good match. And wow, you know, I saw that it was a medallion hunt that did him in, and you know, I mean, that is how rando goes sometimes. But I mean, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, we were discussing about it. It was pretty much a coin flip because what Andy, and by the way, Andy's in the group and in our call right now, so GG dude.
GG dude.
And we were just discussing here. It was pretty much came down to a coin flip. It was either the swamp play or pendant thieves.
And for Andy, it was five checks each because the green pendant thieves, and he hadn't dipped it earlier. You had. He had dipped the first checks to swamp, so it left 5 items left in there. So.
Oof. Yeah. Okay. I see how it went. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All the overworld stuff I had left too was like Thieves Town oriented, I guess. So it just made more sense to do that into Thieves Town than anything else.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting because you did the swamp check before ice even. Actually, for a while, it felt like you were just avoiding ice for as long as you could. I'm guessing you really wanted to go mode it.
Are you talking about my play there?
Yeah.
You know, I figured that, you know, I usually I don't mind dipping Ice Palace, but for a sea like this, you know, I thought, you know, if I can if at all possible go mode that dungeon, that might save me some time. Seeing as we had pretty early access to get in there at least to take a peek, I thought it might be a dungeon that Andy would full clear. So I thought if I can just hold off a little bit longer, maybe I can, you know, skip a couple of checks in there. So yeah, I don't know. And again, kind of swinging for the fences. I thought let's go into swamp, you know, and not doing the first checks in swamp, I guess, would have given me a little bit more incentive to go in there. Yeah, I don't know. Swamp was just calling to me. I like Swamp Palace, so I was cool with taking a dive in there.
Yeah, and it really paid off.
Sure did. Although, you know, I was kind of bummed. I thought that I had totally blown it when I saw Quake in there, and I immediately went for Turtle Rock. I guess after I picked up the cane from Pyramid Fairy,
yes.
I thought for sure Ether's going to be in there. And when Ether was not in Turtle Rock, I really thought I was done for sure.
Yeah, and of course the good news is that Turtle Rock is a tough go mode dungeon anyway, and in that particular
Mhm.
key layout, the only thing Andy got to skip was the Mimic Cave, so there wasn't a whole lot to speed him up through there.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that was the big issue with the fact that there's the lava chest was where the big key normally is, and the fact that say it was the small key in the back. Now, I mean, I don't think it would have changed anything depending on from what we saw, but it wasn't a kind Turtle Rock, that's for sure.
No.
No.
So Andy, you get to change a setting for game 2. Any thoughts on what you might do, or are you going to keep it a secret?
6-6.
This is a good play. This is a good play on his part, for sure. Yeah, I kind of expected it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've already far exceeded any expectations I had, so yeah, this series is far from over. I'm looking forward to our game 2, and then most likely our game 3.
But certainly it'll be fun to watch that.
Yeah, and I wish you the best of luck between both you and Andy.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good luck to both of you going on, and congratulations, sab0tender, for winning game 1. And good luck to Andy with games 2 and 3, if there is a 3. So we'll see.
You can pretty much guarantee it, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a nail biter of a series. It's going to be a lot of fun. Game 3 is going to be hype.
All right, we'll look forward to it.
All right, take care.
All right, anything any one of you want to add before we close this out then?
Nah, just GG's again to Andy, and thank you guys for doing the commentary and the tracking. Always appreciated.
Yeah, GG's. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
All right, which is a cue for us to remind you all to, if you are not already following these runners, you absolutely should be. And you can also follow my co-commentator and our tracker. Again, shout outs to our tracker, Reg, doing the hard work behind the scenes, well, we get to have fun talking about the game. And more stuff coming up for tonight. There is another race on Speed Gaming 3 between RD Walsh V versus Kappa on Speed Gaming 3, like I said. And on the ALTTP Randomizer channel, we have Amazing Amphorus versus Doomtap, and then a whole bunch of races tomorrow, starting off with Game 3 of Korek versus Bonta, and at 10:20 in the morning for your morning link to the past randomizer needs. And then at 1:20, Shady Force versus Jet, and then 3, you'll have to take your pick of 3 races. I don't know what's going to be restreamed at 7:20, but there's actually 3 races going on, so we'll see what actually happens there. But definitely tune into all those and follow all the Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming, and then Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and the ALTTP Randomizer channels, was that 1 through 5, I believe. And yeah, and I'll let you close us out, Professor Renderer.
I don't know what to say, but it was a close race, and I'm looking forward to games 2 and 3, or if there's even is a 3.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the game 2 at the very least, and if there is a game 3, that'll be very hype to finish us out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, thank you to you for joining me, Professor, and yep, that'll be it for us.
All right, take it easy, everyone.